and subscribers. Norando Brown here, your host, and what a game that was! What a game where we're thoroughly entertained. Another match week completed in the English Premier League, and the Reggae Boyz fans, they'll be very, very happy to see that Michail Antonio, the West Ham striker, who recently acquired his Jamaican passport and is officially a Reggae Boy for now, got on the score sheet twice and got in on the assist as well. He's now been involved in 5 of West Ham's 8 goals that they've scored in this season's EPL so far. 2 games, 8 goals scored so far for West Ham. He's been involved in 5. He's a new number 9. He's the record goal scorer in the Premier League era as well. He was tied with Paulo Di Canio at the beginning of this game. At the end of the game, he's too clear. So congratulations to Michail Antonio. The Reggae Boyz fans, we are happy, we are ecstatic, and we're hoping that he will be a part of the setup come September, or come next week really, when we'll kick off our World Cup qualifier against Mexico in the Azteca Stadium. Now, news broke out earlier today about the I was at work, Shatta. I left work late last night, so I didn't get to tune in on it any at all. But as I said, folks, Michail Antonio, we were hoping he'll be a part of the Reggae Boyz setup. News came out earlier today actually about the COVID situation in Mexico, and there may be some issues with some players, especially the English-based players, getting released by their clubs to come in and represent the Reggae Boyz for the World Cup qualification games against Costa Rica as well as against Mexico. And we know time is of the essence now. Mr. Wynn said he's working assiduously to ensure that everything is on the up and up, and we're good to go when push comes to shove, but we're keeping our eyes on that. But again, folks, Michail Antonio, imagine what he will be contributing to the Reggae Boyz setup and to the push for World Cup qualification. For those who were lobbying for local players to be included in the Jamaica football team or the squad or the setup for the World Cup qualifiers, based on how this situation unfolds, that may be the case. We may very well have to draw for some more local based players, as well as some players who are playing elsewhere, as well as some other players in Europe. But again, Michail Antonio, a fantastic game. And for those who have been messaging me or filling up my inbox with messages about Arsenal, I am a Chelsea fan. London is blue, then it is claret and blue, and then it is red, in that order. Okay, so I hope that sheds light on that. Michail Antonio, he and his West Ham team, they're doing big things. He moved from right back, and then he moved into right winger position, and now he's the centre forward. He's the out and out centre forward for West Ham United, and they're protecting him. They're doing everything in their power to protect him and to ensure that this bit of energy is preserved. I realize with Michail Antonio as well, he never shuts off. Regardless of what's happening in the game. We saw last week his goal came towards the end, and it's the same thing this week. Again, he scored basically in the last quarter of the game, and that's good to see, because oftentimes players, especially strikers, by the time it gets to that 70-minute mark, they're drenched, they're tired, they're exhausted, and we oftentimes see big coaches making the switch up top in this particular period. So it's good to see that the Jamaica football team has someone to look to who can actually run for 90 minutes non-stop. All right, he's a proper tank up front, and I think he will contribute big things for the Reggae Boyz and their push. Revenge tour is coming. Do you see the photo? Yeah, I will be doing a video on Sherika Jackson. That one will be releasing tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So if you haven't done so as yet, turn the notifications on. I think Sherika Jackson definitely needs some attention, and I'll be doing a video on her to be released tomorrow morning. So again, folks, hit the like button if you're only now joining us. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and turn the notifications on. That way you'll be able to get notified whenever HalftimeTv uploads a video. All right, so I'll be back on StreamYard as well later on this week, where we can have some more in-depth conversations as it relates to football and some other stuff. But again, I'm not straying too far from the point. Chelsea played against Arsenal yesterday, and again, as a Chelsea fan, I felt sorry for Arsenal. It was very much the same thing that we've grown accustomed to over the past few years. And sad to say, but I think Arsenal is a mid-table team now. They should be competing for 11th or 12th in that region, but that's my opinion. I think that the name and the history, it precedes them. And that's basically all they're clinging on to now, the history of yesteryear when they had fantastic players. Yesterday was the same thing. It was Didier Drogba against Senderos, the Swiss defender. It was Diego Costa against Koscielny and Gabriel Paulista. It was Eden Hazard against Koscielny. Whenever Chelsea has a main man in their team, the Arsenal defenders, they look like imbeciles, and it was the same case yesterday. I think they struggled throughout the entirety of that game, and at the end, it was a just result. I think Chelsea could have easily walked away with maybe 4 or 5 goals in that game. But again, I'm not talking about the Chelsea game. So that was just to give a little bit of perspective to the Arsenal fans who have been messaging me about the Chelsea game and how come I didn't do a video on it. I didn't think it warranted a video. I didn't need to put out a full video for that. Christian Pulisic tested positive for COVID-19, and that's why he wasn't included in the matchday squad. All right. So again, Michail Antonio, fantastic player. The news about the UK-based players, not possibility of them not being included in the World Cup qualification, it is disheartening. We're hoping everything is resolved. As things stand now, it's only speculations. We know the Jamaica Football Federation is known to be in the midst of some drama. Whenever we have games coming up, there's always some bit of drama surfacing or floating around. So again, as I said, folks, we're keeping our fingers crossed, because there's a high possibility our players will be available if the necessary protocol are adhered to, and if we try to run a tight ship. The quarantine rules, we're trying to lift those to see if the players don't have to undergo the quarantine upon leaving the country as well as upon returning to UK. But again, we're waiting to see. The games are just over a week away, and we're pumped, especially on the back of that performance. The commentator, I think it was Peter Drury or Jim Begg, I'm not sure. I think one of the commentators said earlier in the game today that he hopes Gareth Southgate is paying attention. So I can't wait for the World Cup qualifiers to come, so we can get Michail Antonio out there on the pitch. I know he's already gotten his Jamaican passport. He's ready to represent the Reggae Boyz and the Reggae Boyz fans. We are ready to see him in action for our team as well, because especially throughout the Gold Cup, we had strikers with good numbers, and the goals per game, the ratio was good as well. But the quality, sometimes it was something to be, there was more to be had, put it that way, all right? And we were expecting far more, especially from some of the names that we had on the roster. But I think the addition of Michail Antonio to our World Cup qualification push will mean a great deal to Theodore Whitmore, to the players in the current roster, as well as to everyone, really, to the fans. I am a big fan of Michail Antonio. I think the mere fact that he took so long to represent the national team is the only issue I had with it from the get-go. But as it relates to footballing abilities and what he's capable of doing on the pitch, never in doubt, never any question whatsoever. He always give 100%. And that's what we saw again today in that West Ham game. And rightfully so, he is a West Ham legend. He has scored the most goals in the English Premier League era of any West Ham player. He overtook the great Paulo Di Canio. All right, and everyone on here, I trust you know who Paulo Di Canio is. So it's not a simple feat. I think 49 goals now. He was tied on with Paulo Di Canio coming into this game on 47 goals, and having bagged the brace in this game, he's clear now in front with 49. People are only loyal as their option and calls. What do you think will happen? True. Again, And Shota, that was my opinion from the get-go. I said, I was the one who came out and said, JFF or Jamaican football is a dumping ground for English rejects. And I stand by my statement to date, but we can't question his ability, because I know the only reason he's representing Jamaica is because the England manager was no longer fond of him. And even when he was selected into the England team, it wasn't as a centre forward. It was as a right back, I think, or right wing or somewhere there. I think right back. But again, folks, as I said, Michail Antonio, he's on top form and going into, I think, one more game before the international break. It is very fascinating. We're pumped, the Reggae Boyz fans. We are hoping for big things against Mexico. And who knows, with Michail Antonio in this sort of form, we can probably get some points in the Azteca Stadium come next week. All right, so Michail Antonio, top form. Again, if you haven't done so as yet, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. Also, if you're new over here, check out the links in the description to my sponsors, Quick Link Shipping, RS Sports Store, and CSA Shop, RS Sports Store. All the good jerseys, you know, they have the good ones. So if you don't have the jersey for your team as yet this season, you can check out RS Sports Store. The link is in the description to that. All right, so yep, class, proper goal. And I think had it been any other striker across Europe, you would be seeing it everywhere. Proper centre forwards play, and his play today reminded me. It gave me the vibe similar to what I got from Lukaku yesterday against Arsenal defenders. And Soyuncu is a far better defender than anything Arsenal has or had yesterday playing. So I think he gave a proper showing. He was fantastic on the day. 2 goals and an assist. As I said at the beginning of the show, West Ham has scored 8 goals so far in the EPL, and Michail Antonio has been involved in 5. All right, so that's a big deal. That's a big deal. He's scored. London is hammers. No, coach. No, coach. Don't go as far. Don't go as far. As I said before, London is blue. London is blue. Then it is claret and blue, and then it is red in that order. Okay, so that order. Nothing changed. Nothing twisted. West Ham is the second biggest club in London, and as I said, Arsenal is now a mid-table team. But that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If you agree, if you disagree, am I being too harsh on Arsenal? I gave you the full track record from Didier Drogba. Senderos said he used to have panic attack, or Gallas concurred with it and said he used to have panic attacks before games. Didier Drogba, sorry. Diego Costa had Gabriel Paulista and Koscielny tripping over each other. And then Eden Hazard literally wiped the floor with Koscielny. So it is what it is. I wasn't the one who put it that way, but if we can look back on the clips, we'll see that it is in fact how it is. All right. So again, Michail Antonio has Reggae Boyz fans pumped. We are ecstatic. We're loving the performances so far in the new EPL season. He's out and out there. I think for Player of the Month, there's one more game to play in August, and then the Player of the Month will be the nominees will pop up, and definitely Michail Antonio will be in that setup as well for Player of the Month for August. I know the season is still young. I can see him getting into double figures again this season. So especially being the out and outs, the only person playing in front really, because we've seen him in previous years where he's been coming in off the flank and he's been getting on the score sheet. So again, as I said, I expect him to get some good numbers this season, and this only means good things for the Jamaican football team. News came out of the JFF today that there is a high possibility that some of all of the UK-based players really, based on quarantine rules and COVID restrictions, they may not be available to play in the World Cup qualifiers that are upcoming. This is highly due to the bubble, the COVID, the quarantine situation, all of that. But we're hoping the situation changes come next week when it's time for the Reggae Boyz to play Mexico. All right, I think Michail Antonio, he improves our team significantly, and in a time when most of the strikers that we had at the Gold Cup were misfiring, it is good to see, and it is motivating. It is hopeful for a lot of us fans to be seeing these sort of performances, especially coming out of one of our own. So we are expecting of the best strikers in the EPL in the world to play for Jamaica. Well, he's already sorted out his documents, so we just want the games to come sooner rather than later. Because as Jim Beglin said during the game, he knows Gareth Southgate is looking, and probably a recall is on the cards. I can't wait for him to get on the Jamaican colours. I want him to get out there. I want him to represent. And I think with him in the setup, again, especially with this sort of form that he's showcasing in the English Premier League, he's shrugging defenders aside like they're not even there. It is good to see. A late bloomer nonetheless, still the 31 years old. Most players or strikers in their prime were looking from between 27 to 33, thereabout, 32, thereabout. So seeing that he's just finding his true position on the football pitch is good, but it's bad at the same time, because then you call into question how long will he be able to contain this or to keep it up. I tell you something, I don't care how long he keeps it up. I just want him to keep it up throughout the World Cup qualification campaign as well as going into the World Cup, because the Reggae Boyz fans, we will be pumped and we will be hopeful, because seeing currently one of the he's on form. He's the farm striker right now in the EPL. If you're to be honest, if you're to go across the board and assess all the other strikers, he is the farm striker, right? And that's not me saying it. That is fact. That is based on numbers, and as the statisticians and the folks who dwell most on statistics will say, statistics this and statistics that. So we're referring to the statistics now. And so far in the English Premier League, Paul Pogba had 4 assists so far. Bruno Fernandes scored a hat-trick on game day 1. But Michail Antonio with 5 goal involvements. All right, 5 goal involvements, 3 goals, 2 assists. Yep, he is the farm striker now. Having him in the Reggae Boyz setup will spell good things for the Reggae Boyz team, and maybe bad things for the rest of teams in CONCACAF, because then if Theodore Whitmore knows how to get him going the proper way, then I am 100% confident that third place will not even be an option anymore in that group. But we can realistically aim for second if Michail Antonio keeps up this form that he's currently on. All right, folks, again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Halftime TV, again, only sharing my opinion. If you would agree, let me know. If you disagree, again, we always welcome the opinions. And look out for the video as well on Shericka Jackson. It's labeled Shericka Jackson, releasing tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Yeah, 8 a.m., 8 sharp Eastern Standard Time. So probably if you're in Jamaica, it'll be maybe 7. So probably when the sun comes up, hopefully you guys aren't still under curfew. I'm not sure what the restrictions are, but when the sun comes up, your video will be there waiting for you. Again, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on. Let me know what you think of Michail Antonio and his showing so far. History maker, Michail Historio, the history man himself, Michail Antonio. He's a reggae boy, and we're happy that he's a reggae boy. He's a record breaker at West Ham as well. So put it this way, one of our very own, a reggae boy, is the leading goal scorer in the Premier League era for one of the biggest clubs in English football. All right, so again, West Ham, bigger club in London than Arsenal, and Michail Antonio is the leading goal scorer for West Ham in the Premier League era with 49 goals. Big striker, top baller, and he'll be representing us, hopefully, come World Cup qualifiers in a few weeks, next week really, if all goes well and the COVID restrictions are lifted. We hope they don't disrupt the preparations and the sequence of events leading up to our game against Mexico, because I think if he is among that group of players to go into the Azteca and play, we can genuinely get a favorable result. And by a favorable result, I'm not talking about a draw. All right. So again, thanks for tuning in, folks. Look out for the video tomorrow. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section. Norando Brown here from HalftimeTv saying until next time, and thanks for tuning in. All right.